So on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, I think it's actually been about a month now, about a month ago, there was this set of tweets going up on Twitter that was all about, I hate cliches, and then the person who is tweeting states like, oh, the writer says so and so cliche, and they're like, oh my god, the writer said so and so cliche. It was really funny, really awesome, and also just went to further push what I've always been stating, which is the fact that I do think that tropes and cliches get a very bad rep. Like, there is absolutely nothing wrong in a book being tropey. Sometimes the tropes are actually given a new spin, which totally takes them away from the cliche territory, but other times we don't want a new spin, we just want the same old cliches that we've always had, and there is absolutely nothing wrong in that.
To be talking to you, belladonna. Should have taken a break, not an Oxford comma. Take what I want when I wanna. And I want you.
Nara back again. So following my intro, I decided to start this old tag, which I went searching on BookTube, and I don't think anybody has done this particular tag in quite the way in which I'm taking it, because I'm drawing direct influence from the set of tweets that went up, like I said, about a month ago. I'm going to link the Twitter handles of the various people that tweeted this particular set of tweets and whom I drew inspiration from. I repeat, I drew a lot of my inspiration from this tag from this. Now I'm going to state outright and say that these are all tropes that the minute I discover that a book has them, I absolutely must get them. Some of the books I'm mentioning here are books I've already read and enjoyed, and some of them are books that I have not yet read, but I plan to, also because of the tropes that they contain. So we'll go straight to the very first trope, which is the found family trope. Name a book that has unrelated characters with varying / different backgrounds who basically see themselves as a family. For me, my choice would be The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi, whereby we do have a group of people who have varying needs and varying wants, but who do treat themselves and see themselves as a family. They're not as strongly bonded as other characters we know from other books, but I love the fact that in this we can see the start of a very strong family system. And we only know that they will only grow stronger, especially considering the way in which we left things off at the end of this book. The next trope is the "it's always been you" trope, which, what can I say? The "oh, I've loved you, I've always been in love with you, it's always been you" were an inevitable trope in books. Just, it gets to me. It makes me very, very emotional. So the prompt for that is for you to name a book with the "it's always been you" trope. And for me, I'm going with Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Obinze and Ifemelu's relationship in this book that took place across decades, that started from them in secondary school all the way to them in uni, and even after they separated and had different relationships, and Obinze even, got married, had kids. I know the cheating bit in this broke me, but at the same time, the "it's always been you" trope / spirit is very strong in this book. Like, very, very strong. This is one of my favorite of Chimamanda's books that she's written, and I repeat, the "it's always been you" trope, very, very strong. Then there's the forced proximity trope, or as I like to call it, the "they hate each other but there's only one bed / room / cabin" trope. In this case, I'm going to be going with a book that I have not yet read, but it's definitely high on my list of books to get because I want to read it so bad. And that is Lord Dashwood Missed Out by Tessa Dare. Just because the entire synopsis of the story is so cool. You have a girl who's loved somebody, who is loved a neighbor, who left without a word, and she eventually decides that she's going to take charge of her life and writes basically this whole Lord Dashwood Missed Out piece for all the women that, their love interests who they've always wanted to notice them never did, and she just wrote it, but it became a hit because turns out that during that time there were quite a lot of women who actually did agree with all the things she put forth in the open pouring of her heart and emotions and hurt. The only problem is that the Lord Dashwood returns and finds his entire reputation besmirched and decides that, you know what, you're going to show me exactly what I have missed out on. Like, that entire synopsis sounds divine. When you're not adding the fact that they are trapped in some cabin together because of the weather, and you just know sparks would fly. And then there's the fake dating trope, which everybody knows I love. It's all about characters who decide to pretend to date each other, but then emotions get in the way. Name a book that, you know, fits this prompt perfectly. I wanted to go with, you know, the first book that came to my mind, which is of course What the Boys Have Loved Before by Jenny Ann, but I ended up deciding to go with something else. My pick is The Way to Game the Walk of Shame by Jen P. Wen, whereby we have Taylor, who is a straight A student, you know, the resident ice cold queen on campus, but when she wakes up in the bed of this party sufferer boy and our reputation is besmirched, she persuades said boy to pretend to be in a relationship with her. Like, if you just went all, but that makes no sense, Taylor. What can I say? It's part of what comes with the trope. The fact that you can see a very easy way out, a very easy solution out of this entire mess that does not involve them fake dating, but they still fake date anyway. It's part of the trope. It's what I love about it, and this book just seems like it's going to give it to me in spades. And there's the trope that has the grumpy one being soft for the sunshine one, which it's basically the way the name states. You have a grumpy character who does not like people, who is very antisocial, and who has a weakness / soft spot for the sunshine, sweet, lovable character. Name a book that fits that prompt. For me, I would go with a book that does not follow the, like, I know a lot of people might go, oh, romantic, you have the romantic character, but the book that best sells this trope for me has to be Silas Manor by George Eliot. What can I say? Silas Manor, in this beautiful, amazing, wonderful, wholesome book that George created, is very antisocial, very grumpy, does not like relating or interacting with anybody in town due to circumstances in his past. But then he stumbles on this young child who walks into his house from the snow, a mother dead in the snow, and he adopts her and raises her and names her Epi, and she's just lovable and warm and sunshine. She's just amazing, and he loves her and he bonds with her, and they create this strong relationship of father and adopted daughter that is just, it brings tears to my eyes every time I remember it, to the point that when Epi had the chance to leave Silas and live the life of a gentleman's daughter, she's like, no, he's the one that makes me happy, he's the one I love. And I just like, that book gets to me every time. You cannot read that and tell me that you don't think George Eliot, that you don't think her mind is just brilliant. Like, you can't read that book and not tell me that. And then there's the enemies to lovers trope, where, you know, they hate each other, they can't stand each other, but then they eventually do love each other at the end. Now, name a book that you believe fits this trope perfectly well. For me, it's The 18 Game by Sally Thorne. What can I say? Like, it already has hating in it, so you understand. It already gives you an idea of exactly what is going to be in this book. You have two characters who are up for the same promotion and hate each other's guts. And the fact that we're going to go from that to them loving each other, just, it makes me happy. All the possibilities that can be contained in that, like, the thought of it just makes me very, very happy. And then there's the opposite attract trope, whereby you have two people of varying, contrasting backgrounds / beliefs who fall in love and then, you know, find a way to bridge their differences. I love that. I really do love that trope every time I see it. Name a book that has that trope. For me, I'm going with Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali, which is the love story between Zainab and Adam. She is a Muslim, he has multiple sclerosis. They are both just, there's friendship, there's love, there's a mutual respect and understanding. What's not to love? I can't wait to read this book. Like, there's just something about opposite attracting that just brings me joy. The fact that we don't have to have the same experiences to be able to forge a connection amongst minds and amongst our hearts. Like, the message behind that always makes me happy. I don't care. It can be tropey as hell, but it makes me very happy. And then you have the chosen one trope, where one character is destined to save the world. So name a book with a character that is a chosen one. For that, I am going with Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nyan, whereby you have Lei, who is a paper girl and who is destined to save our country and our people from the subjugation of the demon class. One reason why I love the chosen one trope is the fact that it legitimately just, it gives you that message of hope that one person can make a difference, one person can change the world. And if it is that you go through life with that belief that you have the power to make things, to cause positive change everywhere you are, then it's just something, it's a message of hope that I think would never grow old. And even if it grows old, I don't care, I love it. Then there's the gender bender trope, whereby a story gives a gender bend spin to a traditional story. So name a book that fulfills that for you. For me, I'm going with Once and Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Corinne McCarthy. This is a gender-bent King Arthur retelling. I can't wait. That was all I needed to hear to pick up this book. I've not read it yet. I plan on reading it soon. But I repeat, it's a gender-bent retelling of the Arthurian tale. What's not to love about it? And there's a trope I like to call hurt equals true feelings shown, where basically you have a character who has been hiding their feelings for the other character, but then the other character gets badly hurt, and the first character who has been hiding their feelings loses their absolute mind, and in so doing show their feelings for the person that was hurt. And the book I'm choosing for that is Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo, because there's a particular scene in this book where Inej gets hurt and Kaz loses his goddamn mind, and there's something about eyeballs. That scene was just spectacular. Like, I loved this book up to that point, but when I got to that scene, I was like, this is my bread, butter, biscuit, everything rolled in one. I just talk about a full meal. I repeat, I love that trope. I really, really do love this trope. Then there's the AI is a crapshoot trope. So name a book where robots or sentient computers or other forms of artificial intelligence go haywire and betray their creator. For me, the book I'm going with is Illuminating. This trope is very specific, but I don't care and I don't mind, because this book gave it to me and so much more. Hayden, my precious, precious boy Aiden. I don't have words. Just, there's an AI in this that terrified me, but I also really, really grew to love. And I know that is contrasting in itself, because trust me, when I was talking about how much I was terrified of this AI, and everybody was like, you will grow to love him at the end, and I'm like, are you all insane? You don't know my mind. You don't know what I'm thinking. I say I do not like this AI. Blah 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 blah. They were right. I grew to love him. I love this book. I adore this book. Then there's the Draco in leather pants trope, which, yeah, you heard that right. But basically, this just a trope that where you have a villainous character that people grow sympathetic to because they are super hot. I know Draco Malfoy is more than just his looks, but this is technique. This is actually a trope. So name a book, name a character that fits that trope. For me, the Darkling from the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I fall into this category. I think the Darkling is super hot, and I did grow sympathetic to his character. I'm still down to the fact that he should have gotten a redeeming arc, but it's kind of hot, and there are a lot of people in this entire community who would agree with me. Because let's be honest with ourselves. If the Darkling looked like a crusty old 700-year-old geezer, we might not be as sympathetic to him as we are at the moment. Like, just think about it. And then there's the fallen hero trope, whereby you have a character who should, by all accounts, be a hero, but due to certain circumstances in their past, become a villain. What can I say? I really love this trope. Fall from Grace stories are my jam. So name a book with a character that you would classify as a fallen hero. For me, I'm going with Nevernight by J. Christoph, because if certain circumstances had not happened to Mia, she wouldn't have become the assassin she is by the end of the series. And even with that, you still see all the heroic tendencies that are present in her. I repeat, she would not have become an assassin if not for certain circumstances. Like, she's a fallen hero. She's still a hero to me, fallen or otherwise, but she totally does fit this trope. And then there's the evil mastermind. So villains who have such high intelligence and always stay several steps ahead of the hero. What can I say? I blame it on Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, because if he had not given me Professor Moriarty, I might not have loved this particular trope in books as much, but as it is, I really do. And a character that I think does actually fit into the evil mastermind trope is Amy Dunn in Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, because Amy, that psychopath, the level of intelligence it takes for you to totally and completely ruin somebody to that extent, to have everybody convinced that, oh, it just occurred to me that not everybody has necessarily read that book. So I'm going to stop right here to prevent any spoilers. But yeah, Amy, evil mastermind. And then finally, the last trope is the nickname trope slash cliche, whereby you have characters who all throughout the book have been calling each other, like has been calling the other character by like a nickname, until an emotional or dangerous scene occurs whereby they then use the character's full name. And just like I did with Silas Manor, I'm not going with a romance for this. Nope, I'm going with, yeah, you read that right, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. Because think about it, it took Voldemort two books to finally say his name. All throughout Philosopher's Stone, all he was going was, the boy, get the boy, get the boy, use the boy, look at the boy lies, the boy. But nah, see, until he finally saw that, oh, this old plan of possessing Ginny Weasley, and now Harry is here and he's getting stronger. When he realizes that he's reached a moment of achievement, he feels emotional enough, and for the first time in the series actually uses the boy's name. He calls him Harry Potter. Like, tell me this book does not fit that trope. Just tell me. So yes, those are my prompts. I'm going to list everything down in the description bar below. I'm also going to list out the Twitter handles of everybody whose tweets actually did inspire this video, so you can check them out on Twitter. They are funny, they're funny, they're witty, they're just amazing. This community, we have so many amazing people in our community. But anyway, yes. And yeah, I forgot there's one more thing. So just because I really love to see what every other person's cliches and tropes that they always go all out highs for are, to everybody that is doing this video, I would like for you to add one bonus cliche slash trope, a trope that you love, separate from this. So there are 15 questions with your own trope that would make 16 for your video. So just any trope slash cliche that is not in the ones I've mentioned that you really love and enjoy when you come across them in books, let me know, tag me, I want to see these things. So yeah, if you like this video, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. Check out my other videos, subscribe if you want to. I make new videos every Sundays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and I'll see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.
My strange addiction, my doctors can't explain my symptoms or my